Hi there, and thank you for tuning in. This copy of the Godox TT520 Mark III was kindly sent to me by a company called Insstro. I'll post a link to them below. Apparently it's one of the biggest distributors of Godox equipment, and I wasn't aware of that. But they kindly provided me a copy so I could do this review. So I haven't paid for this copy, but I'm not sponsored by Insstro, and they have had no influence on the content of this video. I want to share 5 things with you that surprised me about this flash. I'm not new to Godox, so this is not my first rodeo when it comes to Godox. I shifted away from Yongnuo, I think it's pronounced, 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been shooting Godox ever since, and I've never looked back. I think they provide some really good gear at a reasonable price, so I have stayed with Godox and really enjoy using them. So the 5 things that surprised me with this flash here is relative to my experience with Godox. So let's get cracking. So the first thing that surprised me when I opened the box was that I didn't find the flash, but I found this trigger. And this one you can of course mount on your hot shoe, on your camera, and then you can have your flash basically wherever you like it. The great thing about this is that you can point the flash in any direction you want it to. You can have modifiers, and yeah, only your imagination sets the limit here. So it's a really great thing that this is included in the solution. My way into the Godox system has been that I bought a flash first and then the trigger later, but here you get everything in the same package. So I thought to myself, they have saved some money. Now they have provided the wireless setup here, so I bet the head on the flash can't turn. But I stand corrected. You have all the things that you want if you want to have the flash mounted directly on the camera in order to bounce the light and send it in as many directions as you'd like. So there's no, you can say, reduced flexibility here on the head. It is still very, very flexible and can turn in a lot of directions here. So you have lots of options. Actually, I would say you have so many, so I'm not sure that they can all be used. But for sure, nice to see that both the off-camera option and all the flexibility is there. The second thing that surprised me was normally when I buy a Godox flash, I buy it specifically for my Nikon system, so I need to have a little N sitting somewhere on the box to be sure that the flash will fit my Nikon camera. But I didn't find any brand name or anything on this one, so I thought, how can that be? And Insstro, who sent me this flash, they also just sent it to me without asking about brand name. So what's the story here? Well, the thing is, and I only learned this recently, but apparently all the big brands, they have the trigger for the flash sitting on the center pin. And then all the pins around the center pin, they are brand specific. So if you only have the center pin to trigger the flash, then you're good. It will fit, as I said, all the big brands, Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fuji. But of course, the downside is that there's no protocol other than that between the camera and the flash. And that means that you have to set the flash manually. And that's very, very easily done. But there's no advanced protocol going on here. So TTL is not possible. And anything where you can say the camera or the trigger needs to talk to the flash is out of the question. So it's a very, very simple setup, but sometimes I think a simple solution is often a better solution than one that's, you get so many options that it's crazy. But be aware that this is a manual flash, so you need to set the strength of the flash manually on the flash itself. The third thing that surprised me was when I lifted the flash when it came out of the box, it was super light. I was like, wow, how have they done that? But it turned out that there was an explanation, because there is no batteries supplied with the flash. And I'm used to some of my other Godox flashes that there is a battery supplied, a big, heavy, but also with good capacity battery that is charged either via USB-C or in a supplied charger. But here there's nothing, so you need to factor into your budget that you will need to have batteries available, and this one will, flash is taxing when it comes to your battery capacity. So make sure that you have plenty of batteries, or if you don't want to end up with what I call the sad bag here. These are disposable batteries, and I bet you if you shoot with disposable batteries in this flash, you will quickly have a pile like you see here. So my recommendation is that you go for what I have here, rechargeable batteries, and I have plenty of those. I have them for other appliances, but if you don't have that and you want to go for rechargeables, make sure to factor that into your budget. Speaking of the batteries, you can see here that when I fire the flash, I can do that, just let me do that on the trigger here. You can see it recycles fairly quick. You can see the red light here goes on when it has recycled. You can hardly tell here because I'm at one of the lowest strengths. If I go to, let's say, all the way up to 1/1, that's full throttle. Notice the recycle time now. Yeah, that took many seconds, right? I doubt you need this much power, to be quite honest. The guide number is 33 meters, and that's quite impressive. If you've ever been to a swimming pool, short lane that is, Olympic short lane, it's 25 meters long. So this one will reach, is it about 8 meters longer than that? That's quite a lot. So I doubt you need that much power, but be aware that if you need to shoot at some of the higher levels of power, then the recycle time, of course, goes up. You can get an external power supply. I think it's called PB960, something like that. I've had that one. I didn't like it. It became too many cables, too many things to carry, too many things to set up, and so on and so forth. In that case, if you need that much power, I would suggest that you look into some of the more expensive Godox systems that comes with a battery that has plenty of power. Then you will also get the faster recycle. Thing number 4 that surprised me is that it has this little window here that you don't see on many flashes, especially not upmarket flashes, but it's actually able to see if another flash is firing and follow suit in that case. And I think that is just brilliant because it's super simple. It doesn't require any protocol, doesn't require any advanced setup. You can just, make use of it. The only thing is that you need to have, I wouldn't say line of sight, but you need to have one flash is able to see the other, of course. So you can see here, I have a little flash from Cenico, and when I fire that one, you can see it triggers the big flash here. And that means that with a small flash like this one sitting on your camera, you can have this one as a fill light, and they will be able to see each other, and you don't need to have any protocol or wireless system or anything going on here. It's super simple. But again, just like when you fire it with the trigger, you need to set up the flash here manually, the strength, set that up manually in order for this to work. The 5th and final thing I want to share with you is that I looked up the price on Amazon, and this entire setup here will set you back $59. $59. That's the price of roughly 10 Big Macs. I mean, it's crazy that you can get this much technology for $59, if you ask me. So I don't think it will break your bank. To be quite honest, I don't hope it will. At least it should be an affordable way into shooting with flash. And if you don't shoot with flash today, if you're new to photography, I would say this is probably one of the things that can make the biggest technical difference to your photography. And we can have a long and complicated conversation about this, but trust me on this one, the light that your camera captures, that's sort of the signal, and any system has noise, so your camera has noise as well. And the more difference you can make between the signal level and the noise level, the better. And a flash is an super way of increasing that level so that you get the best signal and hence the best technical quality. And if you don't believe me, give it a try, borrow a flash and see what it can do. I know we all have these pictures in our head of flash photography from, you've seen this example with people being caught at a party up against a wall with the red eyes and a big shade behind them and perhaps a slightly overexposed and so on. But with especially an off-camera setup like this one, maybe some light modifiers, maybe using 2 flashes, one as primary and one as fill, you can get, especially for portrait, but also for product, which is what I use it for, you can get some results you would never get with natural light. So if you're in doubt, borrow a flash, see what it can do. I promise you, if you invest a few hours in flash photography, I think you will find that will lift your level of photography. There are many out there who will tell you, a new lens, a new camera will do wonders for you. Give a flash a try. And I think with the price of $59, we are, as photographers, running out of excuses for shooting with flash. If you're not comfortable with shooting manual flash, you may want to go for a model with TTL. 530 is actually such one, the model just above this one. But give it a try. And if you're shooting digital, you can always redo the shot, right? So you can always adjust the strength of your flashes. And I must admit, I don't use TTL when I shoot flash. I set each flash manually and try to balance the different flashes as I go along. And therefore, I could actually do with this flash, or several of these flashes, I don't need anything more advanced than that. Of course, personal preference territory, but for sure, you can get a lot of things done with a flash like this. As always, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.